Howdy class, this is the .upper and .lower functions in Python. All these do is take a valid string, a normal string, and convert it to uppercase or to lowercase. And a string in Python, remember, it can be one character long. For example, if you're asking a user to enter a Y or an N to make a decision, that string can be one character long. Now, the way we do these is we simply append the string variable name here. Let's say we have a string called name. Here, let me change the font color here. Let's say we have this name right here, and we want to just outright convert that to lowercase character. Well, we can just do a reassignment. We can say name equals name, but then we add the .lower method call here, and that will convert it to lowercase. Nice and simple. Same thing with .upper. It'll convert it to uppercase. If you have, say, an entry that a user entered, then you want to check for yes or no, then we would just check, if entry.lower is, let's say we're looking for 6. Well, that's how we would do that. Or you could go ahead and convert it when that entry is being entered. You can do it like this: entry equals input, and then here's the prompt for the input. Here's our normal input prompt that we've been doing for a couple of weeks now, and you could just simply convert that to lower like this, and then whatever gets entered here will get converted to lowercase here and then assigned to the variable entry. So it's a very versatile, very flexible function that we can use in Python to do a quick conversion. And let's shift over to some code now that we'll look in Jupyter Notebooks. Okay, here we are in our Jupyter Notebook. And in this first cell, note that I've just got a string variable called name declared, and then I'm just putting my name in it. Now then the next line down here, I'm just going to convert that name. This is an outright conversion. Name equals name. It's going to do a reassignment, but we're going to convert it to lowercase and then just print out what name currently is. And you can see here that the name output is all converted to lowercase. So that's an example of using a conversion statement, but you can still print out lower and uppercase versions without actually converting the variable or reassigning or redoing the variable. Here, for example, I'm going to keep my name with both upper and lowercase. The first thing I'm going to do is just print name.lower. And that's just going to take that string, lowercase it, and print it, and then we're done. However, we haven't changed the variable. We didn't do a reassignment here. So the variable is going to stay with both upper and lowercase. So this code kind of demonstrates then this first print statement is going to print out all lowercase here. But then if I go back and print out just my name, well, we never altered that. We never did a reassignment. We never said, okay, your name now contains all lowercase letters. We never did that. We didn't do the same kind of reassignment statement that we did up here in the earlier example. So when we print name for the second time here, you can see that the original upper and lower cases were retained because we never changed the variable. Now here's some code that we will get used to using quite often because we're going to be asking the user to enter a lot of data, a lot of decisions, yes, no. I mean, your program this weekend is going to have yes or no entries to manage. And it would be awful nice if we allow the user, when we ask them, okay, enter a Y or an N, it'd be very user-friendly to allow them to enter that either upper or lowercase. So this next segment of code is going to show how can we do that. Now we could kind of do it in this cell here, we could kind of do it this way, which is sort of the brute force way. And here we have a prompt to the user to enter either a Y or an N. We read the prompt, and then here we're just simply branching. If that prompt is a yes, then we will go this way. If it's a no, we'll go this way. Now, the if statement header here will have to examine both of those cases. If entry is an uppercase Y, or if it's a lowercase y, then let's go do this yes stuff. Otherwise, we'll go do the no stuff. So that's kind of the brute force, the rote way to do it. A much easier way to do it here would be to change the input statement and just add dot lower to it. That means that whatever gets entered, it's going to be stored as a lowercase character. So even if they enter an uppercase y, they will be stored as a lowercase y. And the beauty of that is that since we know it's being converted to lowercase, that this if statement is no longer completely necessary. We can just take out the uppercase clause in its entirety and just leave it as if entry equals lowercase y, because it's already been converted to lowercase. Let me show an example of that. I'll run it here, and I'm going to enter an uppercase y. And you see here that right after I enter it, just for validation, I have a quick print statement, and it printed a lowercase y. So that's our evidence that this lowercase conversion is working. And then we do see that this clause of the if structure got executed. So that means clearly that the character was successfully converted to a lowercase y, because that's the only thing we're evaluating in the if statement header. So hope this code helps for lower and upper, and same thing for upper, just change the parity and use dot upper. One thing to note is that if you use dot lower or dot upper, or I should say when you use dot lower or dot upper, you've got to include the open and close parentheses after it. It'll give you a weird error if you forget that and just use dot lower. It's going to give you a weird error like this, and that's your secret code for, okay, I have to put those parentheses back in. And what do those parentheses represent as a little side note? Well, it just represents that it's a function that we're calling. It's some kind of sort of a string manipulation function that we're calling dot lower, and it doesn't take any arguments, but we'll get to that, much later in the course. For right now, just remember, got to put the parentheses in. Okay, hope this helped everybody.